Okay, cool. All right, cool.
What
All
up?
right, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Just Boolin. Joining us today is one of Man Sketch's really good friend, Biscuit, and he's going to be chilling with us, talking about books.
Hell yeah.
Literally, I thought it'd just be just again, we hung out literally 2 days ago, chilling and just chit chatting again. I mentioned this on a couple episodes ago, and to sketch like the conversations that we had, at my house, just chilling, talking about, the Japanese era was probably like the catalyst for me wanting to get a project together and talk about stuff with my friends because that was awesome. And
Hell
so I
yeah.
couldn't think of a better person to talk to about one of my favorite things, like literally one of my favorite pastimes in the world. I'm sure all of us here just reading. I was just
Absolutely.
about to say before we started recording that um, literally it's the basis of almost everything. Whether it's like a literal novel or like a comic book or just
Hmm.
some pictures with some words in it. That's how it all starts in a book. Someone reading this and saying, "This is probably the best thing I've ever read in my life. I need to see this moving."
Yeah, not even that. It goes back to the basics. Like, no matter what you do, whether you make movies, whether you write songs, whether you do production, everything at the end of the day goes into a sheaf of paper. Everybody wants their ideas either in a book or in a script. There's no two ways about it.
I mean,
Because we want people
in
to read our stuff. We want people to look at our story.
the written word and simple images have been able to push the human imagination farther than a lot of things. So having that as the basis for our entertainment, the way that we piece together our own sense of the world, and even sometimes morality. I know that Spider-Man's great power must also come great responsibility is a thing I literally mantra myself. So
I remember reading that. So in elementary school, they had that giant ass Amazing Spider-Man book that was like that first issue that covered everything going. Reading that big Spider-Man first issue book from the library and seeing, with great power comes great responsibility. It's literally it's ingrained in me from something I read as a child.
Yeah,
hmm
no, I feel that. Lord of
no,
the Rings,
same.
Lord of the Rings got my ass.
Oh, good lord. And Tolkien was such a stickler for moral strength, like following your code
Hmm.
and very much having your word be law, like your own law. Like
What's my
that's
favorite word, Biscuit?
hmm.
Conviction.
Oh, conviction. Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
you can't get away from that in Tolkien's work.
Mm-mm. If
But
nothing else, he will push that right in front of you.
yeah, but even before that, I think the what I connected with most was heroes from like
Hmm.
Greek mythology and Phoenician mythology because no matter where I turned, I would always see, people getting saved by superheroes or, in the Digimon verse, your friends help you or the special Digimon helps you. Even in Pokemon, you know, you have that special Pokemon you got, to go to the Pokemon Center. But that wasn't what I identified with because that wasn't my world growing up. I had to do for myself. I had to figure my own shit out. And so like hearing about these kind of these heroes that have like basically were born from nothing or so they thought and had to basically meet the gods halfway, that that spoke to me. And
That
out of that came that conviction that pull yourself up by your bootstraps and
Mhm.
Tolkien, ugh.
Oh, and man, he has bled that. But also, when you said Heroes, the first thing that went into my brain was the 2006 drama show
Oh
Heroes,
yeah.
and I was
Listen,
like,
I was wondering where he was going with it. I was like, look, I haven't read the hero's novel, but I'm here for it. Let me see where he's going. Because, but
but
yeah, I'm the same way. Like someone that I'm reading in my imagination, I'm standing right beside them while they're saving X, Y, Z. It's probably one of the best things that have happened to me. Closing the book and being like, I cannot wait to get to where I'm going to wonder what happens next, to see what
Mhm.
happens next.
and
Oh, I
and
love
to
a good
to
book.
to give you that, like Hercules, Perseus, and Odysseus, some of
Mhm.
my earliest like heroes of epic heroes, epic poetry, these grand sprawling adventure. Hercules's what was it? His like 15 labors.
12
Eh,
labors.
Yeah, his 12 labors, and then Perseus's specific quest to like find himself, and then the entirety of the Iliad and the Odyssey,
Oh yeah.
as you like feel Odysseus get like having almost exactly what we want and just getting like wrenched away, and him not devolving into something cruel but keeping by his convictions, and then he like kind of gets what he wants in the end, what he's driven and strived for.
You brought
It's
up you brought the Odyssey, and nobody ever talks about that, and like as far as like what inspired them and stuff like that. But I still think about Polyphemus in that fucking cave, the Cyclops.
Oh my
Like
god.
the lesson in that is like
Mhm.
further reaching like than people think about.
And then also how novel it feels now, but how like like different it must have been then for the turn of phrase to get around
Hmm.
the I'm nobody. And it's like it's something that's been uh like redone and copied because that's how we create as people. We see these things we like and we're like, oh, I can put that into something else that I enjoy. And then you get all of these like the what was it, the kids with the Perseus and the lightning
Oh, Percy
thief,
Jackson
or
Percy
Percy
books.
Jackson.
Jackson. Yeah, I
Yeah.
read those with my
Which
sister.
are amazing, by the way.
They are great novels, and I read quite a few of them while my little sister was reading them. At the time, it was a way for me to connect with her. She was reading um she was reading that, and the one with Katniss Everdeen,
Hunger
the yeah, the
Games.
Hunger Games books, and I read those alongside of her. And
I read those as a grown man.
yeah, so did I. I was in my own home, buying the Percy Jackson books so that I could read them and go to my little sister, who was like a teenager at the time. Like, I'm 24, she's 14. Obviously, she doesn't want nothing to do with me because she is a teenager. And it's like, everything you like is lame. And I'm like, well, what about what you like? And like, again, it's one of those things. It's a book. It's just letters on a page, but it's able to connect
Yep.
people that otherwise it would be difficult to. And I read all those books, and as I'm reading them, I'm like, holy crap, this is a love letter to like all of the Greek myths and heroes that you
Hmm.
learn when you're in middle school.
If you've not given it a chance, please look up the Thief series by Megan Whalen Turner, The Thief of Edis,
The Thief.
The Thief
because it is
Edis
yeah,
EDDIS.
IS.
Got it on my
Um
list.
so Megan Whalen Turner is the author. She weaves this Greco-Roman original world with its own mythology, its own like different polities and everything like that. But the gods are like obviously they're Greco-Roman coded, but they are so melded together, but so original at the same time. It blew me away because understand, like I came straight from Greek mythology into fantasy. Like
Mm.
there was no stop go. There was there was I think it was the Del Rey books, Myths and Heroes.
Oh my god, the Del Rey books.
Yeah,
Mm.
the gray one
Mm.
with the Theseus
Oh my
kicking the
god.
the man eating turtle,
Yeah.
kicking the guy to eat the get eaten by the man eating turtle. It's
That
that one.
That's
Yeah,
like that's unlocking some old memories. Holy
yeah,
crap!
man. Because it's the one that had the Bellerophon, the original Bellerophon story in the background, in the back of the book, in the indexes. Anyway, sorry, nostalgia. But I just completely lost. But oh, the thief. The so I went from fantasy from mythology to fantasy, and this was like the perfect jumping off point because
Give
it's
us a
got
little synopsis of it.
it's yeah. So it's political intrigue, it's mythology, it's a not quite a coming of age story, but like a story of redemption. The story is the main protagonist is Eugenides, who is a thief, who has been caught by the Queen of Elis and for stealing an artifact that he should not have been trying to steal.
Ooh.
To He has the favor of the Queen of Elis because of his mother, who was related to royalty. So he says, never been proven, but through a relationship that you discover through the series, they do have a relationship. She does favor him, but can't always keep him out of trouble. So in order to keep his neck from the noose, he agrees to go and steal an artifact, a fabled artifact from a very dangerous temple in a land that is bordered by a sort of hostile land.
Okay.
So the story takes place during the journey and what happens in that temple. And at first, you think it's a bunch of like myths and legends that kind of come to life in your mind, but by the middle of the book, you're not sure.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. How many trilogy? How many in the series?
There are three books in the series.
Say less. 3 books. All right, man. Look, this is. I'm all about a book club. We can have a book club.
Okay,
Literally.
so you've given me that one. I will respond in kind. There is an author that I enjoy named Patricia Briggs,
Okay.
and um in her earlier novels, it was a very heavy medieval theme. The Hurog duology, Dragon Bones and Dragon Blood,
Dragon
are
Bones.
yep.
I want to pause y'all just a minute. Uh, I did not realize that she had written more. Just a disclaimer: I read this when I was a young teen, mid-teen to young teen. This was like middle school. I did not realize she had written more. There are seven books, or sorry,
Holy
six
shit.
books, six books in the series, and then a compilation and a bigger compilation.
So it looks like you're gonna be starting over, huh?
Yeah,
I mean, that sounds fun. Gotta love rediscovering something,
Yeah, man. Dragon Bones and Dragon Blood.
right?
Who was that? Patricia.
Briggs,
Got it.
Briggs.
GG. Got it.
And then the Raven duology was Raven Shadow and Raven Strike has the very similar feeling to it as well. It's very medieval. It's very fantasy, high fantasy. Um, and like all of her first books were heavily inspired, I feel, by like classic D&D.
Okay.
And then her secondary series, the Mercy Thompson series, that is a modern fantasy where we are in like I think we're in modern like Washington, like in the Tri-City of like Washington, but all of those mythical, magical things inside of mythology, fae and pixies and skinwalkers and all of these things, they're all real. And she is a mechanic that drives around a busted Volkswagen Rabbit that she is constantly annoyed that's breaking down because it's a lemon. I love this book series. I mean, as a
That is
mechanic,
on
it speaks to me.
no,
the
that's fair.
list.
Um, for the viewers out there who like the hero's journey and grew up on Harry Potter, but were kind of disillusioned by the wand waving
Mm,
and the magic system in general. I urge you to pick up The Dark is Rising by Susan Cooper.
I got another
That
one.
that series is oh, go ahead, Biscuits. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. No, another low hanging fruit. The Magicians.
Yes. Um, Specifically, I mentioned the Dark is Rising series because it instead of like coming up with a completely different, new modern magic system, this is based off of Arthurian legend.
Yeah.
And the artifacts, while the setting is in obviously in England and the United Kingdom, and the most of the characters are the children um who were affected by this, and the adults. um the magic itself is not childish at all. It's all old magic. It's all like, and it's not like, I was like, it's not like Harry Potter where it's gonna turn your skin blue. The one example that sticks in my mind, I think it was in The Gray King, which is the first book I read in it. Um, there is a stone in the middle of this like old dreary town.
Okay.
It's just a small, like regular piece of gravel that is tied to a spell that keeps the area like low power. Like everybody's depressed in this area. Like plants don't want to grow, and it just keeps everybody suppressed, and keeps everybody from trying to figure out too much about the area. And it is so powerful that no matter who you are, whether you have magic power, whether you are, the best wizard or whatever, it's going to affect you. And it is tied to this small stone in the middle of this town.
That sounds cool.
It's also
Dude,
an Arthurian artifact. It's crazy. Like the kids have to go across this, like across the UK, hunting these magical artifacts and stuff like that. And it's the damn English boogeyman sometimes.
Mm.
Like some of the way the monsters are described, because it's not like obviously a werewolf comes towering out of the thing. It's like this thing in the middle of a lake stood up with no sound.
Oh, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
it's all right. So look, sketch 5 books. So the whole thing is called the Dark Rising sequence,
Yeah.
and there's 5 books in it. This is probably I had to literally click X on the page to stop myself from reading the synopsis because it was getting so good.
Yep.
So I'm adding that to my list. 5 books, not super long. So
No, that's the best part about it too.
252 pages, man. That's a I can, that's a that's a day
252,
read.
252 pages. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Magicians. What was the Magicians about, Biscuit?
Okay, so the mag- I specifically brought this up because when Sketch was saying about like how if you liked Harry Potter, this is a direct straight line. If you liked Harry Potter and if you read The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, any of those, this is the book series to read. It's about a group of kids, specifically one of them who stumbles into a like magical college, and
Okay.
it is debaucherous and dangerous, just like college is. And I first found this out from the show, from the live action show, and then I found out that there is a book series that it was based off of, like basically all
Five
things.
seasons. Whew.
Yes,
Okay.
the book series um and the show have a lot of similarities, but have a lot of differences.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but the books are so unnerving in a way that when they're describing things, it's like a darker version, a twisted version of how like the kids from The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, like there is a one-to-one book in that world, like it's a book inside of a book. And um it's really like twisted and a little messed up. Like, trigger warning, don't go into this thinking that it is a fun romp, because well, it is, but not like, not Harry Potter. Magic is based off of pain, and like sadness and depression. And the more trauma you have in your life, the better your magic can be. But it's also very like
God, that'd be
calculated.
a
Dude,
god.
it's also extremely calculated, and you have to know a lot of things all at once and calculate all these things in your head while you're doing it. Otherwise, your spell will like backfire and your brain will just go and get knocked out of your head or something. Like it's wild, it's dark. I suggest to read the book and watch the show. They are both fantastic.
Okay, okay, I ain't man.
Oh yeah. And there is a straight up like boogeyman type of antagonist in the show and in the book, but I feel like the show gives it a more heavy visual.
Okay,
Ugh.
okay. You watched the whole show. Did if you feel like
Oh
they
yeah.
ended the show well?
Um I think they ended the show well enough that they of where they could, like the actors that were playing the characters were, especially like the main character was trying to go and do more things. They were getting offers from people, so the last season is kind of it is kind of a little bit away from the main story because we lost our main character, but everyone else picked up the slack enough that I enjoyed that like final season. A lot of people didn't, um mostly because their main emotional attachment to the series had left, but
Hmm.
like I also had such attachments to all of the side characters that it let me like enjoy that last bit of the story.
Yo, the cast is pretty
Mhm.
dope,
Is
actually.
is stacked.
I'm seeing a lot of people that I recognize. That's probably one of my favorite things about watch. Not to get too off topic, one of watching like older shows is seeing like these big actors when they were just handing the plate to somebody. You know. Uh,
Mhm.
all right. So just so we also don't get off super track, I felt like what just to kind of keep a little structure. What we could do is each of us could say one what our favorite book is. Then, um, if it's different, which book that hasn't been adapted to a TV show or movie you would like to be adapted to a TV show or movie, and which series you um, would want a continuation or reboot of. Sound good?
All right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me lay in mind. Give me just a minute.
all right, I'll go ahead and start. Since I asked the question, I'll go ahead and start with mine as far as like favorite um book, and I deliberated on this because when I was a kid, my favorite book was Tarzan. But
Heck
as
yeah.
an adult, teenager to adult, my favorite book became The Count of Monte Cristo. It already has a movie and a bunch of random stuff, even anime and stuff like that. So I'm not. I um I don't
That kind of
know.
Monte Cristo anime was wild.
I don't know, and I tried to sit here and think about it earlier what kind of mindset I was in when I was a kid and was reading Count of Monte Cristo because it's a straight up just revenge story. Uh,
Right.
Nuts and bolts of it. For those who have never read it, a guy, him and his friend, they're out there. They're selling the seas. He comes back. He gets promoted, but his best friend's jealous of him, so he gets him basically sent to jail, steals his life, and he, while in jail, learns to read, learns to fight. And another prisoner tells him of a treasure that he tucked away, and he escapes prison, finds the treasure, and exacts his revenge. It's beautiful. The book and the movie, beautifully done. I love them both, and I probably watch the movie like probably once a year at least. Um, but I don't know, something about me, a kid, just loved that getting that lick back.
I'm not mad at that. That's
Um, a kind of parallel to my favorite would be there's a book called "The Star Is My Destination" by Alfred Bester. Um, it's basically sort of the same thing, Count in Monte Cristo, but think space. It's a world where people have developed the ability to teleport, but they call it jaunt. The first guy who ever found it, was his name was John. But anyway, it's the ability to, as long as you know and have enough training and know where you want to be, you can teleport yourself there. It's just a mental thing, and through time, space, well, through space, blah blah blah. And so, basically, what it is, there's a spaceship that gets attacked during this war, and a janitor gets stranded on the ship by himself. So he's there. He sees his Federation ship go by, and he, waving for help, does everything he can, but they basically go about their business. So mad, upset, he starts reading all the manuals on the ship and basically teaches himself like fucking rocket science and all this other shit like that, and eventually develops the ability to jaunt. And so he doesn't control it yet or whatever, so he ends up basically in a prison, gets out of the prison, and proceeds to live this lavish life to go after uh the basically the Federation and the people that wronged him in life. So pretty good read if you guys want to check that out. um, let's see. What's the second thing I said? Oh, adaptation. Right? Wasn't it adaptation?
Yep.
Mm.
Okay.
Adaptation. What you
I
got?
just read mine and just realized that there's a show similar to it, but I don't count it as the same thing. All right. There is a series of books um, called the Emberverse.
I
It,
heard about this.
So the Emberverse, basically, what happens is this big. I mean, the author connects us to a few of his other books, but there's a big flash of light one day, and all electronics just disappear. No one's able to do anything. Nothing starts. Nothing works. Planes fall out of the sky. One of the main characters, he's actually flying the plane while this happening. So they land, and it's basically tells a story of like multiple people throughout the journey of shit, we have lost all the power and we're trying to figure out how to establish, communities and survive and all stuff like that or whatever. And the book covers basically like the series covers like the initial settlements of like the different groups of people. Obviously there's bandits, there's evil people and stuff like there. Bear, there's a group called the Bear Killers. I won't spoil too much of how they became called that. Um and but they the I want to say maybe three books. Yeah, three books. It literally just covers that Earth, well not Earth, but civilization rebuilding itself after technology is wiped out. And I put it down as my list to be adapted into a series, forgetting about a show called Revolution. Um, Revolution was a show about uh basically, and a friend of ours mentioned it the other day, and I don't know why I didn't think of it then, but Revolution, same thing, but this is like a different spin on it. Someone created something, it killed power, and they just in the Stone Age again or whatever. It lasted a season, two seasons. It lasted 2 seasons. Um, but they didn't do that. We lost power. We need to rebuild story like I wanted to, like the Emberverse. Um,
Kind of hold you a little bit.
yeah, yeah. It yeah. Um, and I need a little bit more time on my continuation. So,
Okay.
anyone got their favorite? Want to start with their favorite?
I got mine right now.
All right, let's go.
All right. So my favorite book has to be The Silmarillion because I read it when I was, well, my first attempt to read it was in the ninth grade. I had the previous year read all of the Lord of the Rings. I started off with The Hobbit, and right after I finished The Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings movies were starting to come out. And I was like, what is all this? Oh, this thing is connected to this thing I just read. Oh my God, yes. And so I read all of that. And That next year, I was like looking for some more Tolkien stuff, and I found the Silmarillion. It fried my brain.
Mhm.
It was because it's the Bible of the Tolkien universe. That's not a joke. He does not sugarcoat it. It is not made for kids or ninth graders.
Mm-hmm.
It fried my
Or
brain.
ninth graders.
Yeah.
You
So
know what isn't also made for a ninth grader? Conan.
yeah, 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 yeah. Same font. So it was over my head. So oddly enough, that leaving Tolkien, I picked up Romance Dawn, which is the first volume of One Piece, and the first volume of Naruto, and the first volume of Bleach. And I went off on that tangent for like most of that year, and then came back to the Silmarillion around Thanksgiving, and that was it. Because it gave me everything in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. They allude to so much history, so much rich like lineage and just deeds and places and things, and you can't touch it. Like nobody's talking about it. It's long gone or dead or dilapidated, whatever. But in the Silmarillion, I get to touch. I get to be there when it happens. I get to see this world before all the bad stuff happens. I get to hear about all this crazy stuff, and it was just it opened my mind to fantasy. Um, my favorite series was that the next one?
The next one was, which series would you like to be adapted into either a
Yeah.
TV show or movie series?
Okay, so for that one, it's already been adapted to film. I particularly enjoyed most of them. I need the Chronicles of Narnia, The
Okay.
Magician's Nephew.
Mm. Oh, that's a good
Once
one.
once again, we're always jumping in, in media res, which I like that. I like in media res when it's done right. But with The Magician's Nephew, it tells the story of how Narnia came to be. It tells you where the White Witch comes from. It tells you you don't understand until the end of it, but the characters from The Magician's Nephew are the help me out, Biscuit, the aunt and uncle or the granddad and the grandmother of the Pevensie children.
Oh, in the Magician's Nephew,
Yeah, I want to say it's the uncle.
I think it's the uncle
Yeah, because the yeah,
because the grandparents were oh my god, they were like the matriarch and patriarch kind of figures in that
right.
whole thing.
Diggory and Polly.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
that's them. But yes, it tell like you when I say it tells you like how Narnia's birth, it literally tells you how the
Mm-hmm.
whole basically the universe is birth, that whole fantastical universe, because it's not just Narnia. There are other universes in there. Like it
The
really pulled some
pools.
it really pulled some multiverse theory before it was
Oh,
popular.
way before the pools, the explanation of like the
Yeah,
pools and how each one held a world and all that kind of stuff was
in,
so way before its time.
in particular because the White Witch, one of the best protagonist or
Oh,
antagonists in like children's fiction, you get such an evil fucking backstory. You get such a deep backstory with like very few snapshots of her.
yeah.
Like the scene sets up most of it because most of what you know of her is mystery. It's how she acts, what's around her, and how you found her world. But everything implied is nothing good, and it's laid out. It's laid out where not even a child would look at and believe it's okay.
Hmm.
And it forces the story forces these children to be adults basically. Like you have to be strange bedfellows with your ideas now. Like you have to work it out. It is a wild adventure. It is exactly what I envision would happen on a fantastical adventure, because not all everything is sunshine and rainbows. It's wild shit is happening, and so it's very what's the word I'm looking for? Harrowing,
Mm.
both mentally and physically. And I would love to see that adapted. I would,
It's
especially if they did it right. If they did, oh my god, if they
cause
gave it the
cause
proper tone, like the first movie. If they gave the White Witch and Aslan and the uncle the care that they gave Tumnus and Reepicheep,
mhm.
I would be over.
And like um I was able to read the entire because I only read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe back in it was Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe and the one that happens right after that
There's a lot in the Witch in the Wardrobe, and then
and then
there's a horse and
the
his
one
boy.
the one with the
There,
ship,
that's the Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Yes, those are the two that I read in middle school, and then it was like the second year I had moved out, and my mother had gotten um my little sister the entire Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe in a giant book with the original illustrations.
I remember that. That's the
Yeah.
the one with the lion in the front, right? The
Yes,
multicolored mane.
the multicolored like gold leafy mane. Yes, it
Yes, I
was
bought that one as well.
so beautiful, and I remember like like the day after Christmas, I'm kind of hanging around their house, and I just kind of like get the wild hair and I pick it up and start reading it, and I'm just like, holy crap, because I'm reading it from like the actual uh, um book one, book two, book three,
Yeah, like in
and I
sequence.
in yes, all in
Yeah.
sequence, and it was so cool because as like an adult, I saw all of the themes that I totally missed
Yeah,
when I was young. Because all I really remember of when I was young reading all of that was, oh look, these kids get to be like knights and kings and queens and weapons and epic battles and meeting with a magic lion slash Jesus and like
you didn't realize the politics that went into like
none.
the Calormen versus the
Mhm.
Telmarines.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Everything that led to the conflicts, all of the political intrigue that allowed these things to go unchecked.
yeah,
Like,
the watchful piece and all that kind of
yeah.
good stuff. And Care Paravel, yeah,
Oh
it
my
was
god.
wild, was it not?
It
Yeah,
was.
and it's so subtle because I mean, shout out to British authors. They really know how to do the snark, and C.S. Lewis was a master of just be. He wrote like an everything he wrote was like an editorial piece in a newspaper.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it was very snarky, very just in the way that nasty little boys do.
What
Like that was one of his lines. Like
yeah, when I was told that he and Tolkien were friends, it was like when you look at their writing, fucking of course they were.
yeah,
Ah. Although the whole you can't have a street lamp in fantasy, and he's like, "Watch me."
yeah, that
Mm.
was hilarious. That's
Mhm.
fucking a fucking bet moment.
Mhm. And he's like, "You know what? Fine. I'm gonna make you a giant tree."
That talks way too fucking much.
Ain't too much.
And and that, kids, is how we got Treebeard. If you didn't know, Treebeard
Mm.
is literally fucking Tolkien's parody of C.S. Lewis.
Yep. And the reason that there is a street lamp in The Language in the Wardrobe is because of Tolkien stating to him, "That is not how you do fiction."
Supposedly, the ha-hum thing that Treebeard did was something that C.S. Lewis did to Tolkien a lot
I
to make
didn't know
fun of
that.
him when he would like poo-poo some of his ideas. And so this
That
supposedly
is
Tolkien did that.
hilarious.
Yeah.
So, Biscuit, what's your favorite book?
Okay. Um, so my favorite book is the first book of a series called The Belgrade. It's called The Pawn.
Belgrade.
Yep, it's called The Pawn of Prophecy. So this is my Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Um, it's actually quite funny because I have been told by many people when I talk about this that David Eddings was Tolkien's like almost contemporary in the times when these were coming out, because these books were coming out in the I think in the 60s, but they're they're about a boy named Gowron and his aunt Polgara, as well as a motley crew, including his grandfather, or who he assumes is his grandfather. Or, well, he's told is his grandfather later, but really it's much more complicated than that. Um, but it's a story about this boy being thrust into greatness who is really just a farm boy. And there is a prophecy that is basically foretelling all of this kind of looming in the background, but it's mostly used as a plot device. Because it's like both sides have different portions of this prophecy, and we're following it, but not necessarily to the T, so that we can kind of outmaneuver the other side. It's very much like a game of chess, but played very, very far away with sniper rifles. It, it's the first book that gives you the 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 buildup of the world. Like there's gods and there's mythologies. There are different peoples, and these people all have uh like different governments and different societies and different kinds of people, or royalty or no royalty, and it's all commerce. There's different races of people that are like human or human adjacent. Like it's this grand story, and the first book really kind of set me on this journey to like enjoy, so because I read the Lord of the Rings series and the Hobbit. The Hobbit I truly enjoyed. The three Lord of the Rings books, that was a chore for me. Like,
That's fair.
especially because I was in middle school when they were coming out.
Hmm.
I could barely get through 5 sentences without picking up a dictionary, and that just didn't really work for me as a kid. Like I rushed through them. I skipped and skimmed, but like I got the main gist so that I could, talk to all of the kids that were at school also reading this book.
Oh, okay.
Um yeah, and that's kind of why I read it, cuz it was in vogue. Like the movies are coming out, all of the kids were reading all the books, trying to
Oh, okay.
understand it. I was trying to be sociable because
Got
I was a unsocial kind of kid, and I kind of like bullied my way through them. And at the end, I had a mad respect for Tolkien and this world he had been able to create, but it was just kind of too much for me at the time. I think maybe now, if I sat down and really like
honestly,
ate it, you know,
honestly, I, if you picked up the audiobook of the Silmarillion, like
I'd
you
probably be
liked it,
more about that. Yeah,
you definitely like it. I'm telling you,
I'd probably more of that. But
it is
anyway,
scary world building.
Anyway, this series is something like very close to my heart. There's wizards, there's knights, there's magic. It's called the will and the word in this world, where your personal will, you make things happen, and to trigger that, it's you use a single word. And when that happens, it creates a sound only other people that can use this ability can hear. but the bigger the thing you do is, the louder and more huge the sound. And this is kind of the soft magic system that's used throughout the series, that the wizards, being his aunt and his grandfather, teach him how to do, because he is actually the descendant of like a god king kind of line. And there's, I could go in for hours and hours on it, but if you want to read the Belgrade and the Malorian, start with the Pawn of Prophecy, and it's written by David. It says David Eddings, but all of these books were written by David and his wife Leah Eddings, and they are fantastic.
So Biscuit, what I want you to do is calmly go to your Discord DMs and click that picture I just sent you. We get a live reaction sketch. Live reaction.
Wait, what? What is this?
Live reaction sketch.
I don't know what I'm doing. This is gun. What is all right? Hindsight's overall deal will adapt graphic novel The Sixth Gun.
Well, the article it says a lot, but it alludes to your favorite book series is in development somewhere.
Where? Wait, hold on. Where? Where
Yeah,
does it say that?
click the picture. The picture has the guy confirming that he's working on this book series. It was 2 years ago, but we know how long it takes for movies and stuff to get made.
It's dangerous
Okay,
to wait until the
I'm gonna,
day.
s- I'm gonna send it to you two sketch. It
Where is
said
this?
I just read the article seem to indicate you're in some sort of work or development of David and Lee Eddings' The Belgrade.
The
He said,
Belgrade. What?
please say it so. And the guy replied, yes.
You've got to be fucking kidding me. There's no way.
Yeah, so that was 2 years ago. Just on about maybe like a year and a half ago. Again, we know how long it takes movies and shows to get developed, but I'm looking forward to that.
I I I never, it's one of those series that like old school fantasy nerds know about, but very few other people do. I was given the first book by my mom's best friend who read it when she was young. I never thought in a million years this would get an actual series.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Oh,
man.
holy fucking
It's cool if you want to
shit.
use that as your adaptation
Oh my
choice
god. I
too.
mean, it might be. Shit, it might be. Mother, holy god. I had given up. I had never, like, I was like, there's no way this is ever going to get made. Like, there's it's so dense. But when Game of Thrones, if this can get the Game of Thrones treatment, oh my god.
And look, I know if you see HBO, you're gonna be like, yes. It don't
Bro,
matter what it look like. They're gonna put some money behind it.
bro, the crazy thing is that there's a whole bunch of political intrigue inside of the Belgrade. Like, that means I need to go back and reread the books again.
There we go. That's another book for
Yep,
the book club.
yep. That's when I have to go and reread again. Holy crap.
All right. So prior to that one, did you have like a book series that you would have you would have loved to see get the movie or show treatment?
I mean, that was yeah, that was my
All right, all right,
the
all right,
choice
all
for
right.
that. That was my choice for that one. That's the one I wanted to see to get an actual treatment. Holy crap. But honestly, so there is one other one. Um, it's called the Rach. Well, there's many things. It's now known as the Rachel Morgan series.
Morgan series.
Yeah, written by Patricia Brigg, not Patricia, no, Kim Harrison. Yeah, Kim Harrison's series is,
Hollows.
yeah, the Hollows.
Okay,
The
got it.
Hollows series. That there's a lot of books. But I would,
17.
yeah, man. I've read all of them a few times. There's a lot of
Damn, she
information.
just put one out last year.
Yup, I haven't read it yet. I feel really bad, but I haven't read it yet.
Is that?
Oh.
But you've read the other ones?
I think the last two books are the ones that I haven't
Okay,
read,
okay, okay. Man,
but I've read basically, yeah, all of those. Um,
yo, they have like, and they no wiki page, so this is you have to read these books to know
yeah,
what's going on.
yeah, you really do.
Someone told me I need to get a Goodreads. We need to all sign up for Goodreads and form a little group, pick a book, and we all
See,
fast readers.
I wanted, I had always hoped that the Hollow series would get the Dresden Files treatment. I mean, better than that, but not just the one season, but would have kind of a series, like, because there's so many books, it would be perfect. Like a book a season would be so awesome.
Wow, holy shit. Okay. In the alternate reality history universe set
Hmm.
primarily in Cincinnati and the
Mm,
suburbs, this
mm.
alternate history is built upon two premises. The recent open existence of magical and supernatural species, primarily witches, vampires, and werewolves, with the human population, and the historical investment of Cold War military spending in genetic engineering as opposed to the space race,
Okay,
which
so
resulted in the accidental release of genetically
yes,
modified tomato.
yes. So instead of going to the moon, the human race. So
40
instead
years
of
after
going
the
to the
plague.
Yeah, so instead of going to the moon, for humans had started to focus on trying to get rid of world hunger. And in doing that, they started to focus on genetically altering certain um certain like fruits and vegetables to grow anywhere, like in the desert and in Antarctica, or in like the same thing would grow anywhere on Earth.
Okay.
And unfortunately, as they were doing those experiments, something went wrong, and a genetically altered tomato ended up releasing a horrible plague that started to annihilate the human race. And like it was like a third of the human population like dies overnight almost.
Damn.
And the only way for humanity to survive is for everything that goes bump in the night, called interlanders, to come out of hiding and take their places inside of society, or go like, hey, so I'm a werewolf and I've been your neighbor for 10 years. That kind of stuff. Like all of the witches and magical creatures and pixies and like living vampires, where everything kind of comes out of the woodwork to save society from collapsing. Um, a an undead vampire takes the mantle of president because no human could keep that long enough and not like die from the plague that was being wrought. Like,
Wow. Okay.
yeah, he takes the role as president for a very long time and then eventually steps down and allows for democracy to continue, but they needed a leader that wouldn't die. So like it's so crazy. And then the world itself, the stories are set like 40 years later. We're in like the early 2000s. And think of like how you had the racial stuff in the 60s with Martin Luther
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
King and all of that. Instead of that, it was magical people. And as they basically helped the rest of the world survive, they're like, okay, so new laws are written. Everything is rewritten. Like you have human police and then you have interlander police. Like you have human hospitals and interlander hospitals because there's
Okay.
different anatomies. There's different, like it all had to be self-contained and self-governed, but now it can all be out in the open. But there's still contention, right? So humans have the 9 to 5 kind of idea, right? We get up when the sun goes up and we go to sleep when the sun goes down. Interlanders wake up around noon, 1 o'clock every day. That's their sunrise, and they work all throughout the night. So
Okay.
like you have this weird 24-hour circuit going on and this small spot of like 4 or 5 hours where humans and interlanders kind of coexist, but there's this kind of like interlanders, some of them like say living vampires, wherever we'll call people cookies, snacks. Like it's this really fun world. It's very, very rich, and I think it would be perfect for either an animated series or a live action series, but definitely like TV series, not movies. Too much going on for movies. It needs to be like a something you can build on. Also, my favorite character in that world is the main character's Rachel's backup, Jenks. He's a foul-mouthed pixie.
Rachel
Love.
is the main character. She's
Yes.
human.
She's a witch.
That explains why the first book is called Dead Witch Walking.
All of the titles are plays on old Western titles. On the old Western. So you have Dead Witch Walking, Every Which Way But Dead, um, for a few spells more, um, the Outlaw Demon Whales, like it's all Clint Eastwood movies.
That's dope.
But yeah,
Fistful of Charms.
yep, Fistful of Charms.
A few demons more.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope, man. This is one of the best things about having a conversation about books is the fact that I got so many new books um, to read. Just to give you guys time to figure out or if you a little more time with your which book series you would like to continue on. I'm going to let you guys know mine.
Mm.
So I would love to have a um, continuation of the story of the Secret of Nim.
That's fair. Isn't there a sequel to that?
It's called there is, but I want past that. The
Okay.
sequel's called Oscar.
Oh, you want it like up into
Roscoe.
like modern times?
Yes, I want
Oh,
to
that would
see
be
like
cool.
how long no Roscoe. It's called Roscoe. His name was Oscar. He didn't like to be called Oscar. Anyway, I want to see past that. I want to see how they adapted with the rest of the world adapting.
That's fair.
Wait, I did miss a 1990s book, but it still doesn't go as far as I wanted to go.
Honestly, with all of the reboot continuation type things that are going on now, that would probably, if someone wanted to pick that up as like a series and
Oh yeah,
it's like a
great series.
continuation, yeah, it would absolutely kill with like the nostalgic
You can animate it.
era. Yeah, if you especially if you animate it and you make it like more mature. Like you because the Secret of Nim already didn't talk down to anyone, but
No,
really just make this what it is. Like let it be what it is. Put it inside of the more mature animated um show deal that's going on now because you have the more mature like Invincible and it's all blood and guts and all that kind of stuff and you have the super outlandish The Boys live action series, like based off the comic, and that's all mature and blood gut. Like, I don't want that. I want like X-Men 97.
oof, yes.
It's because it's being written just like the original was, like a soap opera, but like a good soap opera.
Jesus.
So, one of the best things about sitting here and talking to you guys and having these conversations that I see things like a television series based on the books was in development at Fox as a event series in September 2021.
Oh,
Really?
So yeah, Fox was looking at it, and now it's probably sitting on a shelf one day. They're like, "Fuck, we this actor, this famous show did some fuck shit, so now we gotta cancel the show. We need something quick. And so, oh shit, pull Secret of Them. Let's do that one. That's what's
Yep.
gonna happen with that one.
I wish.
Golly. But
I'd
that
be
was
behind it.
that was my continuation of the series because again I would love to see how that colony of rats and mice evolve with the times with because to a degree they had a little bit of electricity and stuff like that, but I'm talking about like cell phones and so I mean the Ninja Turtles can get this stuff down there, so they should be fine. All right, so who's next? Favorites series that you wish they would continue?
Uh, Favorite series, book series that I wish they would
Yeah.
continue. Probably Dragonlance.
Ooh,
Dragonlance.
that is a good choice.
It introduced me to D&D before D&D.
Hmm.
I read that I had just finished reading the my first half of the Silmarillion, and I was like, wow, that is a lot. I can't keep going. I got to take like a small break. So I did whatever any self-respecting fantasy reader would do when they need to take a break is go find another book to read. Um, and I was like on that fantasy show. It's like, okay, let's get some like wiggly finger type magic. Which yes, that's where that came from. Looking around, I was like, I need magic, but like not like in stone, in like a bow and arrow. I need like wiggly finger magic. Who does that kind of shit? And I found Dragonlance, and I think it was Dragons. I always want to say Dragons of a Vanished Moon because that's the first one I picked up, and that's the name I go. But it's I believe Dragons of an Autumn Twilight is the one I actually read. Um,
What's it
and
about?
it was actually it's the end of the war. The war in heaven, basically. The gods are becoming mortal in the midst of a large human civil war that has spilled out into the wider magic realm and is involving the dark god Takesis. There's a plot going on to basically supplant all the other gods, and the catalyst for that is Mina, I believe her name is, which is a priestess of Takesis, and she is leading the army. Um, it there is a lot going on, but it was my introduction to it, even though it's near the end of the whole series. The craziest part is the fact that giving all this backstory into like Takesis, the different dragons, introducing me to the world of the elves. Um, it also gives a comprehensive guide to the pantheon in the back of the book.
Um, Not for nothing.
But it was another one of those like fantasy bombs. It inspired me to jump into this world, and the Time of Twins. Just go look at it.
They're still making novels.
The Time of Twins.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
they
Got
They're
the
they've like the series is not done, but like there are different cycles, and certain cycles I wish they would pick back up.
um
But
well, what? Because I'm seeing all these,
yeah,
and as of like the
every
2010s, there's like a couple, but they're being mostly written like since 2010. There's one, two,
hmm
three, four, five, and sixth one coming out, but they're written by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman again.
those are the ones I read early on because I discovered these. Wait, you said 2010s?
Yeah, 2010s, my guy.
What?
Yeah,
Hold
man.
on, hold
Yeah,
on,
man.
hold on, hold on.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Look, your list just got longer. Cause I was looking, where's that Dragonlance?
Yeah, because
Oh,
Margaret
I
Weiss
was
and,
looking.
and Tracy Hickman are those my heroes. Like I
I was
love
Yeah.
looking
those.
at Time of Twins. What was I looking at on the Time of? Oh, found it. Boom.
Yeah, the
Dragons
Chronicles.
of a Vanished Moon, Autumn Twilight, Spring Dawning. I can't even remember all the names of them, but those books were amazing. See if I can find it real quick. Dragonlance.
Yeah, it would seem that we have in 2010 we have new additions, but in 2022 and in 2023 there's from the series Destinies, Dragons of Deceit, and Dragons of Fate.
Yeah. Okay, hold on.
That is
So the
these
last
video
in
games.
the last in yeah, they have video games. The last in the Chronicles was Spring Dawning. When did that come out? Yep, 2004. Yep. Yeah. And you
That's
saying
a lot of
there's
these
more.
books.
Okay.
There's the
Amazon.
Chronicles, the Lost Chronicles trilogy in
Wait.
2009.
So let me get this straight. There's a lot of books, right?
Yes,
Oh, a
a
lot.
lot of books.
And then y'all are like, oh yeah, I read all those, but no, there's more.
Hmm.
Holy shit! Yeah. Damn, it does what? Shit, straight
Yeah,
up
you said
11 years
you
from the
said
last one.
Dragons of the High Lord Skies, right?
Hmm.
And then Dragons of the Hourglass Mage in 2009.
Where you at? Amazon?
I'm on
On the wiki.
I'm on the wiki.
Oh, the wiki
I,
wiki. Okay. I didn't
I
know
I'm
that
sent
they
it
on
to
had a
you.
wiki.
I
I'm
sent it
on
to you on
Wikipedia
Discord.
specifically. Like I'm on Wikipedia flat, looking at it through all of that. The
Well, then Dragonlance Chronicles.
There's a lot of books. A lot
oh
of
yeah,
books.
but it seems there was
So the Dragonlance Chronicles is just Autumn Twilight, Spring Dawning, and Winter Night. That was the original series that I read.
right,
That's what I was talking about.
right. Well, and it
Preceded by
seems
the Dragonlance Legends.
well then
Yeah,
there's it
Messerissa.
seems
Yeah,
like there's
Kara
the
Mimajir. Yes. Okay.
then the
That makes sense.
Chronicles, the
Yep.
Lost Chronicles trilogy, and that seems to
What's
have
what's
that.
what's the Lost Chronicles trilogy?
This seems to be a book of three here that starts with Dragons of the Dwarven Depths, Dragons of the High Lord Skies, and then Dragons of the Hourglass Mage.
Wow.
Snapshot and all that
So
shit.
there are 169 books that bear the official Dragonlance logo on their covers. There's one website that lists that as 153 like official books in the set of
Yes,
the Dragonlance universe.
and it
Holy shit!
and it was started by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman as the two authors in the very
Some
beginning.
says 210 books.
Yeah, it depends on whether or not you like. I guess there's like novellas, there's novels, there's like spin-off series, but the ones that are written by Weiss and Hickman are usually considered like some of the most important because they laid the foundation.
Mhm.
And when you get those two to write novels is when like it a lot of people it's like some of the most important. But there are dozens of authors
Yeah.
of different books inside of these worlds, which is why there are entire D&D books about Dragonlance as a
Oh man,
setting.
oh man, you want to talk about fucking books? Like how many books there are? Go look up the fucking Wheel of Time series, bro.
Oh,
How many books?
I kind of want to get into the Wheel of Time, but I also am not sure if I want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Okay, so Wheel of Time is Lord of the Rings.
No,
Mm-mm.
Okay,
no,
but
that
so
Wheel of
I've
Time is
I've
from.
heard.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I take this back. I take it back. I take it back. It was the Lord of the Rings show that they just made that they're just making up.
Yeah.
Okay. Wheel of Time. How many? Well, I'm saying a bunch of different stuff.
I know that the TV series, The Wheel of Time,
14.
I
Yep.
think has just like come out not that long ago.
Yeah. Between Wheel of Time, Dritch Do'Urden, his
Yeah.
books are anything by R.A. Salvatore is going to be good, but you're going to be there a while. Um,
That's such a polite way of putting that.
yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, like, I picked Tolkien as one of my favorite authors and my my first foray into real fantasy.
Mm,
So
fair.
I, I feel like I'm qualified to talk shit about other authors.
Oh no, yeah, fair. That's a very fair, very fair.
Oh, honorable mention, BT
Okay.
Dubs, Wizard's First Rule.
Wizard's first rule.
Yep, by Terry
Mm.
Goodkind. If you ever
Oh,
wanted
Terry Kind.
that grungy, like dark fantasy esque '80s, like snarky wizard bullshit, look for Terry Pratchett or Terry Goodkind. I'm sorry.
Well, also Terry Pratchett though.
Yeah, also Terry Pratchett, but specifically Terry Goodkind. I feel like Pratchett gets he overshadows a lot of people just because his name is famous. But Terry Goodkind's Wizard's First Rule, that series is good, and it's very snarky.
Wizard's first rule.
However, on another one of those going down a rabbit hole, the Discworld series.
Yeah.
That's the turtle on the back. On the back of the turtle.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Sketch and I had a friend who was
Big in that.
obsessed, absolutely obsessed with it. He loved how it was written and just how flippant everything was. It tickled him to no end. Before he passed, he was on the search for some of the books that had gone out of print.
Hmm.
What's the overall story of it?
Oh, the
The Wheel of Time. Give me just a minute. I'm gonna pull up a synopsis to do this shit justice.
Oh no, the Discworld.
Oh, this world I have. That is
no
not me.
idea.
That is not me. It's too. I took one look at that series. I was like, nah, bro, you got it. I
we
don't have enough
would
time for Wheel of Time.
we would let our friend absolutely go off about the world and the characters and the things that went on. And
Let's let's do our homework here and at least provide the listeners with something. Um, this world is a comic book fantasy series written by Terry Pratchett, set in the Discworld, a flat planet balanced on the backs of four elephants, which is in turn stood on the back of a giant turtle. It started in 1983 with The Color of Magic and continued until the final novel, The Shepherd's Crown, which was published in 2015 following Pratchett's death. Um, it frequently parodies or takes inspiration from classic works, usually fantasy or science fiction, as well as mythology, folklore, and fairy tales, and uses them satirically with parallels of cultural, political, and scientific issues.
heavy
Uh,
bold on this on the satire.
yes, very much so. Um, remember, this is this is the guy that was writing fantasy and science fiction stuff in the 80s. There are 43 books, or sorry, 41 novels were published.
Wow.
And there are great swaths of them that are out of publication right now.
Yeah.
And no, yeah, that's probably a little much for me.
Yeah, like I said, I took one look, I was like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
Any media adaptations?
Of Discworld,
Yeah.
there's a video game.
Ooh.
It's a point and click adventure from Teeny Weeny Games.
Oh.
I was like, wait, there's a video game? And then you said
Yeah.
it's a point and click, and I went, yep,
1996,
Yeah.
baby.
yep, that fits. That fits the world too.
All right, Biscuit, you got a series that you wish just had a few more books?
Uh, I honestly, like most of the ones that I have read, they end up usually coming to like pretty good conclusions.
Okay.
Um, although it's not, so it's not a book, but um, but like a series. Like I'll just go something that felt very. So Disney's Gargoyles
Ooh,
was
okay.
such a series that had such like deep themes for like a Disney cartoon that I wish that we could honestly get like a really serious like adult gargoyle story, because I know they've done comics and
Uh,
they're
that's right. Guess what? Guess who's fronting the money for a new Gargoyle series?
who
Please
Disney
tell me, Keith
Plus.
David. Oh, word?
who
Disney Plus.
You know
Disney
really
what?
Plus.
You know what? And Biscuit, I will shoot you if you tell anyone I said this.
Gary Doberman.
This is the one time I will trust Disney to do something.
Oh wow, this is
Ooh.
recorded.
Fuck.
I could learn some editing skills and just
Yeah, yeah.
bleep it out.
Yeah, we're gonna edit that out in post. But yeah, this is the one time, the one place where every bit of bullshit that Disney is on right now
Would make
could work
a perfect
Yeah,
gargoyle series.
because
Yeah.
this is the time and place.
Yeah, it is. It is. This would
O-
this would kill.
You could,
Oh,
I would even,
October 2023, they announced it.
I would even let Leslie Headland put her own fan fiction spin on this.
bruh, allow them to do gargoyles at a la what they're doing with X-Men 97 now. I
Oh
am
my god.
so down. I am so down for
Yo,
this.
listen to this. The guy who's going to be front running the Gargoyles reboot. These is his television stuff. In case you guys know this, in the Spider's Web, Blood Money, Swamp Devil, the 2019 short-lived Swamp Thing,
Okay.
Ooh, that
Gargoyles,
was a great
I like
series.
Swamp.
films,
Oh,
Annabelle Within, Wolves at the Door, Annabelle Creation, It,
yo, yo.
The Nun,
Yes, yes.
Annabelle Comes Home, It Chapter 2, The Nun 2, Salem's Lot, TBA. That's new coming. New Salem's Lot, Last Train to New York,
Wait a
and
minute, wait a minute.
Until Dawn.
You just said all of the horror stuff that I like.
Damn.
He's gonna be doing Salem's Lot and Until Dawn.
I'm here for Until Dawn.
I
Unless
am
they
too.
they do something different with Salem's Lot, I'm probably not gonna care about it because I didn't care for the original. To be honest with you, it just wasn't my jam. I'm not gonna trash anything about that because it wasn't bad. It just was not my jam.
I'm gonna give it a look. See,
Yeah. I'm a peek on the curtains. Check it out.
yeah, that's
But
pretty
Super
awesome
excited
though.
for that shit. Hell yes.
so
Hmm.
that's good. So I'm glad that we found out a bunch of good news. Obviously, the best part, favorite series, Biscuit's favorite series is getting something. We don't
I
know what it
can't
is,
I can't believe that.
but
I'm hoping.
he's got it's coming at a time where they got all the best resources, and now they got AI doing stuff that it's got to be the best of the best. Because now if you don't give people what they want, you don't get nothing else. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll hear about it too.
Oh man. So we're not gonna keep you too long. We really appreciate you hanging out with us, talking books. Really enjoyed this. Obviously, I have a list of things that I'm gonna start. I'm teetering between the Darkest Rising sequence and the Magicians. Which one I'm gonna start? I'm probably gonna
Mm.
put it in my little spinning wheel and let it pick for me. But those are my
I love
two.
that.
But I wrote down the Thief of Idris, Dragon Balls, Dragon Blood, Raven Duology, The Mercy Thompson, Wizard's First Rule, The Hollows, which has a lot of books. I'm excited. So we want to get together and pick a book. If whether we starting something or whatever, you just let me know, and I'm
Oh,
in for it.
I am 100% there for a book club if you want to
Yeah, man.
read and then have a conversation about
Yes,
like the
that's
book.
exactly what I want to do.
Yes,
Book
I'm gonna be
club.
real with y'all.
absolutely.
Y'all better get ready for some more hymn books because I'm in the middle of a
Hey, look,
All
guitar
right.
right
I'm down. We'll just go. We'll go in rotation. What we'll do, yeah, we'll roll a dice,
All right.
and whoever and then that way pick, and that's the rotation. We know when our rotation coming.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll do that. We'll discuss the results at a later date. But I think that will be fun. Whoever
I
picks that person picks a book. We read the book. We talk about it. We move on to the next book. Bing
I
bam
love
boom.
that idea.
Yeah, man. See, I love this. All right. Again, thank you so much. Really
Yeah,
appreciate you joining us and
thanks for
sketch as
having me.
always.
Yep. Don't forget to have fun.
Later.
Peace.
Absolutely.